Welcome to the Mingo and Karen Show, the podcast. We're excited that you've chosen to explore the topic of life with us. All of us are here for a reason, so let's venture on this journey together. Today, we want to talk to you all about how to maintain your relationship in uncertain times. We have gone through a lot in our relationship. Y'all know, of course, we're still excited, to be celebrating our 25th anniversary this
25 years of stuff.
Exactly. But when the recession was coming, back in the early 2000s, like 2007, 2008, we started to kind of see things get really shaky and rocky. But to a certain extent, we were almost naive.
Almost like, that's not going to happen.
Exactly. And so what we discovered at the end of that, once we had lost everything, is we came out better in terms of our relationship, because it made us face things that we hadn't faced. It made us learn how to be grateful for things that we didn't know to be grateful for. And it ultimately made us come together. And that's what we want to talk to you about today.
Yeah. Because what happens is during uncertain times, we don't want to, but we tend to want to blame somebody.
Yes.
Even if that somebody is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that conversation go either way. It could be like, well, babe, don't blame yourself. Well, I blame you. Well, then don't blame me neither. So,
right.
We look for the blame game instead of just saying, what can we do to come together in this situation? Because that's not going to make it better.
Right. And I think one of the first things that we had to do was we were in denial like crazy.
Yeah.
We had to face the truth. The truth was that banks were closing, lenders were closing, the world was just, it was just taking a turn for the worse, but we kept trying to be what we thought was optimistic and not look at it from a realistic standpoint, which made us ill prepared to actually deal with those tough times, even with our relationship in those tough times.
Yeah, because what happens is when those times are happening, whether it's a job and you work for someone or whether you're an entrepreneur, you want to keep hope. You want to keep hope. You want to keep faith. You want to keep all these different things. But you feel like, okay, they say I should have, when I say they say, economists, say we should have 6 months worth of income. We should
had
have
more
this.
than that.
We should, we checked all the boxes, and we also saw the writing on the wall.
That's right.
And we thought that there's no way in the world that every market, real estate, could fall at one time.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to today. There's some very just out there things going on right now in life.
Absolutely.
And the difference with this is we didn't get to prepare for this neither.
Absolutely.
And as you think about your relationship, now you are at home with this person under state government mandate.
Right.
This is not the time to not want to face the truth.
Absolutely.
This is a great time to say, I ain't saying do it day one, but now, it's getting some weeks into where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't have taken this long, but then you really start to test the friendship, the relationship. Let's say you're not even in the house with this person.
Mm-hmm.
What if you are a single person and you live at two different addresses,
right?
And now you can't see each other.
Mm-hmm.
That brings about its own level of stress. So what we suggest is, see, for us, these times are not easy, but the relationship part is.
Right.
We've been around this mountain enough times.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this writing on the wall before.
Yeah.
So we say, okay, that's all we got to do. We got this, because Karen, it ain't your fault for what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Mingo, it's not your fault for what's going on out there. It's not the other's fault if their job calls and say, hey, we don't need you no more.
And then I think it's important to stay focused on what's at hand so that you can prepare for your life and what you need to do. Playing the blame game right now, being mad with each other right now, is the most counterproductive thing you can do. It is not going to help. It's not going to help at all. We did a lot of that. We did a lot of bickering. We did a lot of, well, maybe if we had just done this, or maybe we could have done that better. But it didn't prepare us for our income just completely stopping.
Yeah, and you get to that place, not to be, make a joke of it, but we've all been in that place where you're $20 short 2 weeks later, and you like, I knew you shouldn't have spent that extra $20 at the gas station.
Exactly.
Or at the store. What we realize is that that $20 wouldn't have changed your situation
At all.
It was just convenient to say, oh, this is your fault indirectly.
Yep.
You cannot do that.
Yep.
Because whatever I spent that additional $20 on, I'm sure it benefited Karen too.
Absolutely.
But in that time, we didn't have someone like us, or even somebody who had a little bit of experience or wisdom with it, to say, hey, look, if $20 made you or break you,
it ain't what you thought.
It was gonna be tough regardless.
Absolutely.
Because if you would have had that $20 today, it still wouldn't have been enough.
Absolutely. And I think that in light of how sad these situations are, with the loss of life, the uncertainty, and all of that, that's a different element than what we had. But the element that we understand is that we were not prepared. And when I say prepared, I'm talking about realistically prepared for what an uncertain future looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, it has taken us years to even just get to a place where we could talk about it, because the pain that we had, I know I was in denial probably up until 5 years ago about the fact that we actually lived through that.
Yeah.
So I believe that people need to stop a minute, just stop for just a second. I know it's kind of crazy not to want to be updated, about what's going on, because there's always so many other things that are on the news or whatever, but follow the health organizations, listen to the doctors during this time, because you're going to want to be prepared for what the truth looks like. And
you have to face the truth of your household.
Yes.
If just talked to a friend of ours today, and they said that they saw this reporting on TV about, do not look at your 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't. Because this person is a financial advisor, and it's devastating him.
Yeah.
So a lay person, it may just make you have I don't know.
Yeah.
So another thing when you're facing the truth, don't discuss or talk about things that you all are not prepared to discuss.
Absolutely.
You have to be prepared to discuss certain things at certain times.
Yep.
That old saying, it's not how you say it. I'm sorry, it's not when you say it, it's how you say it.
Absolutely.
And that is very true in a relationship.
And it's good you said that. Speaking about the timing aspect of it, I was horrible at picking the right time to say something. And I mean, even thinking about going through those times when we had more than 6 months worth of income, I mean, we were good, like chilling. And I remember thinking, oh man, I hear what they're saying, but it's not going anywhere. We'll be okay. And we actually took a trip to the beach and spent like $3,500 for a weekend. I mean, we stayed there 2 days.
Yeah.
So, but I think that what's important is, like you're saying, just making sure that if it's going to make you sad or if it's going to make you depressed, don't focus on it, but get the information that you can so that you can start to prepare. We did not position ourselves.
Yeah.
That's why we were so devastated.
We were playing checkers and not chess.
Absolutely.
But that's very easy to say, but if nobody ever teaches you, okay, this is a chess moment, this is a checkers moment.
Yep.
We didn't have people to teach us that.
Yep.
So, and then also think about this. When you're facing the truth, if that conversation was tough when things were good,
Lord have mercy,
can you imagine what it's going to be? I used to always talk to Karen about time management.
Yep.
Because Karen is the type, she will spread herself so thin to make sure everybody gets what they need, and it leaves no time for her.
Yep.
And I used to say, babe, you need to learn time management. You can't do all of this. So you equally can't keep cutting you off.
Yeah.
So that means you can't do this and do that and do that and then still be here in an hour. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
That's the analogy I'm kind of trying to say right here. If it was a little bit uneasy for you all to talk about this when both of your incomes were in, your 401k, the kids were good, the household were good, the extended family were good, and y'all couldn't talk about it, please don't talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah. And know yourself enough to know when is the right time to discuss this.
Yeah.
Right now it's a lot that's going on with a lot of people. I mean, a lot that's going on with a lot of people. It saddens me in a place that I didn't know existed. We had gone through that, and we went through, the recession that hit us personally.
Yeah.
But because we know what it's like to not have income coming in. We knew what it was like to have to stay with someone. We knew what it was like to have to depend on, family members just for basic necessities like groceries, school supplies for our kids, because we could not get jobs. No one would hire us coming out of real estate. And so I think what it taught us, like I said, make sure that you are not having that conversation at a time when it's not good for you, not when you're mad or upset or angry, even when you're anxious, because sometimes that anxiety, when you're having that and then somebody asks you a question or they make a statement, it's just going to make it worse. Now, for me, I had a lot of anxiety back then. So one of the things, and maybe this can help someone, if you're going through that and you're feeling that, before you prepare yourself to have that conversation where you are facing the truth, I want you to do something for me. I want you to find something to be grateful for.
Yes.
Find something to be grateful for. Say if you're at home and you still have your job, that's something to be grateful for. Let's just say you got up this morning.
Yeah.
Waking up is one.
Yeah.
Having all 5 of your senses makes it 6, because now you can taste, see, smell, right? Then let's say you have shelter over your head. Mm-hmm. You're not outside on the ground.
Yeah.
Even if you're at home sleeping on the floor,
you're not outside.
You're not outside on the ground. Find something to be grateful for and let that be your focus.
And when you're looking for things to be positive for, it's very easy if you don't overthink them.
Absolutely.
You can't go into, well, Lord, I'm thankful I got money. Mm-hmm. But I had $500 last week. Now I got $100. Can't do it like that.
Right.
You have to say, I have to be thankful that I have any money at all. Because right now, it's always somebody else that wish they were in your place.
Yeah.
And those are not my words. They come from a song that Karen allowed me to experience, a gospel song actually. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the lines in there. Somebody wished they were in your shoes.
Yeah.
Man, right now, there are people that are so thankful. But what we don't want you to forget is you got to be thankful for your relationship.
Yeah.
Because you and that other person built the life that you have, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
And when you take a hit to it like everybody is taking right now, because there is no way what's going on right now is not affecting you or somebody you know.
That's right.
I don't know anybody. We've talked to all these different people, and everybody has a story. Anybody that's on any type of social media, your heart just breaks.
Yep.
If you're not going through it now, you know what it was like to get evicted.
That's right.
You know what it was like to get fired. You know what it was like to get a car repoed. You know what it was like for your bank account to show negative. We've been there.
Yep.
We have been there. And that's the thing about us. We're not afraid to talk about it. Because see, that's not embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, that is a strain on a relationship all on its own.
Yes, it is.
It takes years to develop the mindset and the discipline to say, tomorrow will be better.
Yeah, especially when you're getting told no all the time. You get told no more than anything. You get knocked,
at least 95% of the time.
Feel like you get knocked down.
So that makes me switch gears and say, okay, now we're talking about stable income being challenged like this. See, entrepreneurs, some of us are sitting with our feet crossed like, oh, we'll come back from this because if my skill that I know right now doesn't work, oh, I have enough sense to get me another
something
skill.
else. Absolutely.
That's just the way we work.
Right.
But let's just put it in another place. Let's just say you've been on your job that 20 plus years and you kind of like on the downside of it. It's easy money for you now and this thing happens.
Yeah.
You don't run home and take it out on your children.
Absolutely.
You don't take it out on your
significant other.
You don't take it out on your sibling. And you equally don't let them take it out on you.
Yeah.
You all got to have a safe space. And me and Karen, we never give advice without giving you techniques and little tools. So what we did is one of these things we implemented with one another first, and Karen actually initiated it. And then it kind of rolled over into our kids as young kids and now adult kids, adult young people. We would say to them, okay, before you start telling me what you want to tell me, do you want me to listen or do you want my opinion?
Right.
Because see, that take two different skill sets and two different sets of ears.
Right.
Because when I'm listening just to listen, I'm kind of like the therapist. I'm just listening. I'm making a mental note. And what we have to be mature enough. So that's in the relationship now what I'm talking about.
Right.
You have to be mature enough. So Karen said, Mingo, I just need to talk to you and I just need you to listen. That means if Karen's spiel take from 5 minutes to 5 hours, at the end, I don't get no rebuttal.
Yeah.
Because I agreed at the beginning of the conversation to be a good listener.
Yes.
Because even in an argument, when people are having arguments, because this is what we're trying to keep y'all from doing.
Because we already did it.
Yeah. When people have arguments and they're bickering, you locking and loading. She's saying certain things, he's saying certain things, however it's going, you're like, oh, I'm gonna remember that, I'm gonna remember that, I'm gonna remember that, I'm gonna remember that. And
it's your ammunition, you know.
Then when my turn come, it's a Uzi. It ain't a shotgun no more. It's a Uzi, especially if he or she talks a long time.
Yes.
And then you loading up so much ammunition. A gun only has so many bullets in it.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is you can only load so many things in your brain. You're gonna forget some of them. What we're telling you to do is not do that.
Don't do it.
Go on the front side of the conversation. So now let's flip the script a little bit.
Okay.
You're saying now, Mingo, I want your opinion after I say what I say. So that means like it'll go back and forth. Well, Karen says what she has to say, and then her opening line to me is, "What do you think?" Now let's deal with that. What do I think means what does Mingo think? Not what does Karen want to hear.
Not what does Karen want Mingo to think.
No, it's what do you think? I'm my own individual. I get to think the way I want to think.
Absolutely.
But you got to go back to the other rule I said. It's not when you say it, it's how you say it.
Absolutely.
I'm very guilty of that. So I've learned.
Well, you're better about it now.
Yeah.
Babe.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm talking about where I am today. I'm
Yeah.
talking about where we were in the past, because a lot of these couples aren't 25, 26 years deep.
That's true.
They're new couples. This is a new couple sitting around. They ain't been married but a year, and they trying to understand why they sparring every day.
Or a couple that's been together for a while, but they're not used to being around each other this much.
Now they're putting all day, every day together.
Yeah.
It's not a sparring match. That is not what this time is for.
Right.
This is a time to build the foundation of your relationship. So when our world resets and you go back out there in it, you're fully equipped at home. I promise you, if you get home right, the outside world is nothing.
Absolutely.
It's nothing. It's just like how people say, we have friends that'll say, and family members that say, church is so important to me on Sunday, because it feeds my soul for the whole week.
Right.
And for them, that's what they need. So now they're not battling about the relationship. They're battling about the gathering.
Absolutely.
But they're responsible enough to say, I can't do that right now. But that doesn't mean they don't have an opinion about it. See, me and Karen talk about a variety of things, because people talk to us about a variety of things.
Right. And I think, with you saying that, I think as you were talking, I'm like, I have a challenge.
Okay.
I have a challenge for everyone that's listening to this.
Let's do it.
I had to learn how to do this because I was always good at what I thought was not criticizing, but rather, well, babe, I just want you to be better. I just want you to do this better. But it was, because it was frequent, it came off as me criticizing. I want to challenge you to find one thing positive that you can say to one another each day.
Okay.
If you can do that, and you can learn to find the positivity in that, it will start to transform your relationship and how you see that person, and you will learn to be grateful for them. And like for me, Mingo is a very kind person. Now, we didn't discover a lot of that until we got much older and a lot more mature.
Look, I was rough around the edges.
Yeah, because both of us were, but he's a very kind person. And that's one of the things I always kind of knew was there, because it would come out every now and again. But he, like you said, he was a little bit more quiet and more subdued. And he demonstrated how he loved me through his actions. So he wasn't really going to say a whole lot of words and all that. That just was not him back in the day. And so sometimes it would get lost in translation because I would be wanting him to talk to me when he was showing me. So I had to learn to, number one, stop always having something to say about what he's doing. First of all, he's a man. He's a different person. We came from different backgrounds. Like, he's Mingo. He's not Karen's Mingo.
The one and only.
Oh Lord. He's so I married him for a reason. So he's kind. He's loving. He will give you, if he loves you, there's no limit to what he'll give you.
And I got to clean that up. My son is the second, and I know he'll give me the third degree when he hit this. So, all right.
So I want you to, that's going to be this time when we are having to be at home. My challenge is find something nice to say. I'm telling you, within 30 days of that, even when, for me, I had to learn how to do that in practice. And what I'm saying is, it's one thing to say, oh, I can pay Mingo a compliment today because we getting along. But those moments when it's like, oh my God, he has gotten on my last nerve. That ain't the time I want to tell him, babe, thank you for being kind, or thank you for being considerate.
Thank you for being
okay. But those aren't the times that I want to tell him, but that's the time when it's important. It's important in the times that you don't want to do it because it's stretching you to be a better person, not only for your significant other, but for yourself.
And I used to tell Karen all the time, I used to say, you don't take compliments well.
I don't.
And she said, what do you mean? I say, if somebody says to you, well, Karen, you look nice, she ain't gonna say thank you at first. This is back in the day. She gonna be like, she's gonna make this face, and then it's go but, and then she gonna go into this other stuff that this person didn't even see or was thinking about.
But let me be real clear about that. I've always thought, and my kids and Mingo can't stand when I say this, but I just need to clarify this, okay? When I was growing up, didn't know I was pretty. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a thing that was constant in my life. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of boyfriends. I wasn't popular. Like, that wasn't a thing. So I always thought I had to be smart and funny.
I thought you had to be more than what you actually had.
I thought I had to be more than pretty.
Yeah.
Because the girls who were pretty got all the attention.
Yeah.
Girls like me didn't. So I learned how to.
I have a theory on that too, but I will keep it.
Go
to
ahead.
Myself. No, I ain't talking about Ken. I'm just talking about when you have to be real with yourself.
Yeah.
When a person spends a lot of time getting things because they're pretty, that go for men and women.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to run short sometimes.
Yeah.
Or it tends to have to deal with a lot of people to get to their goal.
Got it.
And I'm not saying beauty has to do with your success or not, but I also understand what Karen was saying. I didn't understand her foundation of why she felt like that, because she was pretty. So it's kind of hard to hear a pretty person say they don't feel pretty.
And that made me uncomfortable because, especially when people started saying, oh, you're so pretty. And I'd be like, like, oh my gosh, why are you saying that? I would just feel really uncomfortable. But now I'm learning to embrace myself, and I'm grateful to, be where I am and to finally look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, you look pretty today, because that's not something I did. I'm not a person who's going to look in the mirror and do any of that.
So the reason we're saying this, we definitely have to keep it in the middle of the road, because we know we are an advanced level of understanding of what we're trying to ask y'all to do.
Right.
We're saying keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
So if okay, the husband cooked the dinner. Mm-hmm. The male cooked the dinner. Mm-hmm. The wife can,
or the significant other that doesn't cook finally cooks.
Just the person who doesn't typically cook, the other person decides to cook. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying you lie to a person. Mm-hmm. If the meal was good, let's not base it on your standards and your abilities.
Absolutely.
Try to find something good to say without saying, well, you should have had less salt. You should have cooked this longer. Should have done that. Now you've minimized any compliment you could ever give.
Yeah, and any effort that they put into it.
And you do not have to lie.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like that about the meal, let's not talk about the meal. Let's talk about the effort.
Because it's like you didn't know how to cook when I met you, and I was the one that was the cook.
Yeah.
And so now that you cook, like you did chicken, I think last week you roasted some chicken, and you like, babe, can you come and check and make sure I put enough seasoning on this for you? And I'm like, yeah, did you flip it over? And I was asking you different things, did you do this or did you try that? And you like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about doing it that way. You have to, the person who's giving the guidance has to be equally as kind to the person that they're giving it to, but then that person needs to be open enough to receive what they're saying. So in other words, the whole goal is always to come together. Come together to make it happen. Come together to make what you're doing work. No matter what it is, it's really not as hard as it seems, it's harder to keep the division between you all. It's harder to keep bickering because then you got to keep keeping score and on, and you said this and blah. It is, trust me, Erykah Badu wrote Bag Lady for your girl. Because I used to carry a lot of baggage because I thought that's where my power resided. And the power resides in not being weighed or weighed down or weighted down by things that you can't go back and change anyway. So you gotta, not saying that there aren't things that you need to work through. Like if you have other past things in your relationship where, like Mingo and I told you, I think it was bickering. But if you have that, I'm not saying you just got to just drop stuff and let it go. Work through it, but work through it. And in order to do that, you've got to come together.
And you're thinking about coming together. You know, we keep everything on the simplest level. We have the advanced experience, but we keep it on the simplest level because Karen used to say a long time ago that somebody shared with her, you can't skip levels of development.
Yep.
So everything we talk to you about, we're going to come with the simplest level first. You know, a simple compliment, a simple, you know, just telling the truth or whatever the case may be. Coming together. Come together on something small before you try to come together on something big.
Yeah, because it ain't going to work.
So that's like saying, hey, what do you want to eat tonight? Well, I had a taste for seafood. Well, I had a taste for chicken. Oh, okay. We want two different things, but here's the compromise. Why don't we make fajitas? We can use chicken. That's simple.
Yep. One person can have fish tacos, the other person can have chicken tacos.
That's simple.
Yep.
Now you get a little more complicated. Y'all looking for a house. You want a modern house, and she want a contemporary house. Mid-century house.
Yeah,
or whatever.
mid-century modern.
Y'all so far apart, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So then you discuss, what are you willing to give up? Both people have to be willing to give something up when you don't come together. See, like for us, I gave you the analogy of the chicken and the shrimp. That worked because if Karen said, that's a good idea, but I'm totally not in the mood for Mexican. So that means we, that means we need to talk a little bit more about
we don't need
what we're gonna
tacos.
eat. So, okay. All right. So how landed are you on the seafood thing? You know, babe, I've been waiting all week. You know, I've been disciplined on what I eat, what I've been eating, and I just want this. So now I have to say, you know what? I'm going to make the compromise. This time I'm going to do seafood. So when we get ready to decide next time, it might not be chicken I want, but Karen may be more open to the item that I wanted because I was open to her item.
Right. Or what if we just say, you know what, we're both kind of in two different moods for, in terms of our meat choice, but can we come together on the sides? One person prepares the meat and both meats and the other person prepares the sides. We've done that before. So it may be something as simple as salad. Yeah. Right. And you have chicken with your salad. I have my fish on the side with my salad, and we're good. Or if you make rice and steamed broccoli, or just whatever the case may be, the whole point that we always are trying to convey is you have to do this together. It is a relationship for a reason.
For, and anybody who knows me, especially on these podcasts, I love sports analogies.
Yes.
Because sports, if I'm going to put it on men.
Okay. Or people who love sports.
I'm sorry. People who love sport. That is a great way to say it because we know some females that love sports.
Yeah, because I love some sports.
We know one particular lady that her TV doesn't go off the sports channel.
Right.
I'm talking about literally.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
She can tell you stats about every sport from crochet, from lacrosse to golf.
Yeah.
So the key to winning games is teamwork.
Yep.
Anytime you have a selfish player on the team, that team typically is not consistent in their victories. Same thing in a relationship. If you wake up in the morning and we playing for Team Allen and Karen the point guard and I'm the center, well, I'm not going to dribble the ball down the court. That ain't my job. That's right. Karen's job. My job is to wait in the paint, take it to the hole, do what I need to do.
Absolutely.
We understand our roles. Now, I'm not saying, I've seen the time where Shaq, as big as he is, dribbled across half court. But he don't do it a lot in the game, but he's done it before.
Right.
So what that means is that you are a team so that where somebody may be inadequate in that moment, you have to be ready to step up in that moment.
That's right. Absolutely.
So that's that same thing in your relationship. So right now, we're making a plea to couples. Right now, you all are a team at that house.
Keep it together.
And you, the kids, or whoever that live there, extended family, everybody that resides in that address, Y'all need to sit down and have a truthful conversation and understand everybody's role in this situation.
Absolutely.
And do not get caught in the rabbit hole. Do not get caught in the rabbit hole of what you used to have.
Yeah.
Because we spent years talking about we built this house for our kids, and you could see a lake out the front and you could see a lake out the back, and not in a bragging way. We just
so proud.
We just felt thankful. And then, but what we found out, like Karen shared with you about the bag lady story, that was baggage we were carrying around.
Yep.
And every time something went wrong, we didn't blame each other, but we reminisced and went down the same rabbit hole together.
But you know why? It's because we put our luggage in a rolling luggage bag. You know what I'm saying? Because see, back in the day, you ain't have wheels on your luggage.
You didn't?
So it was harder to carry things around. And I'm using this, just as metaphorically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying, like, don't make it easy to do that.
Yeah.
Don't make it easy to drag things on and drag them out. I know, because I was that person in a relationship. The best thing that has ever happened to me was letting that go. I found peace. Yeah. I didn't even know what peace was. I heard about peace in church. I heard about peace with people who did yoga and meditation and stuff. But I'm talking about a kind of peace where you can sleep at night because you know everything is okay no matter what. I used to dream about tornadoes all the time during those times. And at first I used to be like, God, I thought it was because I was in Alabama and we were in the South and I was afraid of tornadoes or something. I don't know. But then I realized it was because I had so many things going on the inside of me that needed to get worked out. And there were always these conflicts.
I
wasn't settled. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do for those of us who are like me, who didn't know how to fully come together, I always desired it. But I think in a strange way, I was always afraid. I was afraid that if I let it go, I would somehow lose something.
Yeah. But we just had a conversation about this. And this all goes back to what we're saying, how to maintain the relationship. You have to always keep the main idea. Remember, we was learning how to write in school. You stay with the main idea. Mm-hmm. And the main idea of this conversation is how to maintain in uncertain times.
Oh, let me say this.
Go ahead.
So I want you to think about your car and maintenance, right? So in order for your car to be running, let's just keep it on the simplest level. You got to put gas in it, right?
You do.
In order for your car to because if you don't have gas, it doesn't run.
Can't run only for so long.
Only for so long until it runs out.
Yeah.
This is what needs to happen in your relationship. It's time, especially if things haven't been quite where you wanted them to be lately. It is time to put some gasoline back in the car. Put the gasoline back in the relationship so that you can maintain and you can make it through these times.
Yeah. And and this is also going with, keep it going with the car analogy.
Okay.
The check engine light been on. It's been on.
Well,
you've been coming home. You're not really having the deepest of conversation. Either one of y'all going to your social media, you're calling up your friend. You're doing everything but discussing the truth about where you all are.
That's right.
The check engine light is on.
Wow.
And now you didn't run out of gas because you got a full tank.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
And you push the button and the car doesn't start.
Woo.
But mind you now, the check engine light done been on for a while. But in your mind, this is a good old car.
Mm-hmm.
We experienced that with one of our favorite vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this car was an amazing car.
Yeah.
And we just got rid of this car.
Yeah.
I mean, this was an amazing car.
Absolutely.
Even passed down to one of our oldest child. This was a great car. But the car had come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the check engine light on for years.
Yep.
And we said, you know what? We told ourselves, the fuse blown.
Yep.
We said the fuse blown.
Mm-hmm.
It got full tank of gas. The tires look good. It sound good. It performed good. We tell ourselves all these things.
And you tell yourself, you know what? If I don't speak it out loud, or if I don't say it, or if I don't, go and take it to the mechanic and let him diagnose, give us a diagnosis, then we're fine. As long as, no news is good news.
And it's funny you said that, because now I'm at this point now, you got this time.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little extra. So you say, you know what? I'm going to take it up here to this mechanic shop and I'm going to run a diagnostic on this car. Mm-hmm. You pay your $99 and the person comes back to you and they give you a report that make you just sick to your stomach.
Yep.
And you've known it.
Mm-hmm.
You've neglected.
Yep.
And now what we're saying is the check engine light is on.
Come together.
It's time to get it repaired.
Yep.
Let's repair. Let's fix. Let's have truthful talk. Let's talk about everything we need to talk about, because you know why y'all should be able to talk about anything? because y'all are on the same team.
Yep. And then, and all I want to say is this: it's gonna be okay.
It is.
You can maintain your relationship during tough times, and we don't speak tough times over you, but I'm just saying, remember we talked about facing what's going on. And so we just want you to be encouraged, stay focused, and we want you to make your relationship as great as we already know it is. Happy relationship building. Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mingo and Karen. Happy relationship building.